Dear participants, welcome to Kalve Coffee Investor Webinar. My name is Eva Onde, I'm from NASDAQ and I'll be moderating today's event. We will start with company's presentation and continue with a live Q&A session. Throughout the webinar, you're welcome to ask questions to the company. Please submit them in writing through the Q&A window below the presentation. For your convenience, we will be recording this session and replay will be available shortly after the call. Let me now introduce you with our hosts. Kalve's co-founder and CEO, Gati Zeimans, and company's CFO, Jānis Viester-Zegners. Handing over to you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, hello.
It is nice to be with you here. First time in the first webinar as a listed company, and we are really glad and honored to sit here together with you and share our unaudited report of 2024. So let's begin. We want to share 5 key indicators and stories about last year. First is team growth, and we put it in the first place because we believe that without good and competent and self-motivated people in the company, it's hard to maintain growth and develop good products and services. So last year for us was, as we call it, a transformation year, and it was transforming team as well. So we growth with about 20 people in the company, and we growth not only in number, but actually we growth in our competence, because we believe that we have to work all the time with our competence individually, and if we can manage that individual growth, then company will growth as well. And of course, for us, as you all know, after IPO, the main task was to scale the company, and without a good team, it's hard to do that. Second point is successful IPO process. Actually, yeah, we raised a little bit more we expected. So thank you everyone for that, and we are really happy for that, and it shows that we have a loyal customer base who are believe in our story and are ready to invest. So thank you once again for that. Regarding revenue, as all previous years was quite significant growth for us without any extra investment in the company, and it shows that healthy environment in the company of not only management but all operations. If we compare with 2023, it was 37%. Then next number is coffee sold. That last year we sold around 20,000 kgs per year, and of that, what's of our point of view, it's really important is that 1/3 of that we sold without packaging, and it means that one of our core values, which is sustainability, is like celebrated with our customers as well. If you compare it with 2023, where we sold in total 72,000 kgs, then the number of percentage of the zero waste was a little less. So it means that again, thanks to you, we can manage these numbers growth. And the fifth thing is that we opened first our living room concept, which is a bigger coffee shop concept in Riga. As you know, before that we had only small efficient coffee shops called Kalve espresso rooms, which have around 15 to 20 sitting places, and living room, which is on Valdemar Street, is with 65 sitting places, and really we are really happy that starting day one it works really good. People like it. They come back, and numbers shows the success of that as well. So now Jānis, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. So the financials, the financial year can be split into 2 parts. So the first one is the performance of 24, and the increase, so the growth we have experienced. The second part is the preparation for the future. So when we start about, so let's start with the 2024 and the revenue. So as Gatis mentioned, we increased our revenue by 37%. It's great to see that all business lines contributed to this growth. We will come back to look at the revenue figures in a bit more detail in a short while. Looking at EBIT and EBITDA. So what is EBIT? First of all, it's the earnings before interest and taxes. And then the second KPI is before depreciation, which are basically the exclusion of the non-cash items in our P&L. We can see that we have a very strong underlying profitability improvement. And this comes despite the non-recurring IPO related costs. We booked around 180,000 in these costs. This was planned. We knew that. And so despite these extra costs, we managed to increase our EBIT from 78,000 to 204,000 and EBITDA from 164 to 322. The margins increased. It's great to see that we don't only grow these profitability numbers only by the sheer volume, but also by increasing our efficiency. And what I'm very happy to see is the EBITDA before exceptionals, which reached 505,000. So this is the EBITDA when we exclude these 180,000 of non-recurring IPO related charges. Let's move on to the next page. So here is already kind of the story for the future in terms of cash flow. Also, when you see the cash flow from operations in 2024 decreased a little bit compared to the previous year, but this was also planned, and it's basically it was driven by the preparation for 2025. We reduced the tax liabilities significantly, so this was kind of a non-necessary step towards the IPO. And we also increased the inventory so that we can embark on the growth story in 2025. CapEx, here we also increased a little bit our investments in the coffee shops and the coffee machines to be ready. And then, of course, we are very happy to see that our financing cash flow is very high thanks to the IPO, but also due to a little bit debt we took on. And I think very important is that the leverage ratio, for example, debt to equity, it decreased significantly from 180% to 27%. And especially when we look at our peers, this gives us even some room to take maybe on some new debt, while still maintaining the very healthy capital structure we have at the moment. Let's embark a little bit, so let's deep dive into the revenue part. So as we said, we increased our revenue from 2.5 to 3.4 million euro, and this is mainly driven by the rise in the coffee shop locations, but also higher average revenue per location. So this is great to see that we don't only increase our places, our shops, but we are also getting more out of the current ones. And we can also see a very strong performance from the B2B segment, where we increased our revenue by 24%. E-commerce, here, this is a very organic growth story where we increased our orders from 1.2 thousand to 2.4 thousand. Very high increase in terms of percentages. But of course, out of the total revenue, these are only 2%, but this is also our opportunity for the future.
Yes, what I want to mention here regarding e-commerce, as we talked before in pre-IPO presentation, that we see that e-commerce could get like two-digit numbers in growth in future years, and we are putting a lot of effort to that. So looking ahead in 2025, first thing is, as planned, we are launching new coffee shops. So of course we want to maintain growth healthy, not too high, not too low, to be able to manage all the process in our high quality standards. So we will open in next month one coffee shop here in Riga in Old Town. Then we have already signed 3 agreements in Tallinn. We expect that in first part of April we will open 2 coffee shops in Tallinn, and in the late June third one in Tallinn. So we have already one agreement in Vilnius regarding really nice location, nice coffee shop, and we expect to open the coffee shop in around mid July. So looking forward to these events. And regarding coffee shop opening, and last year was made for preparing for these events, and so we have a good cooperation with the constructing company who helps us to open quite quick and efficient all these coffee shops. The next thing is at the moment we are in the process to increase the productivity of our roastery of production. So as you saw last year, we saw that we sold around 90 tons per year. So we expect the growth will be similar, around 20 to 30%. So it means that we want to increase our productivity and to produce this growth with the same resources. So of course we have to invest in the capex. So we are planning to do that, but still we want to be efficient in capex way as well. As I mentioned before, e-commerce is we have to take all the opportunities of developing e-commerce, and at the moment we are in the process of developing our like e-commerce platforms. So let's call it like that. And of course, we are starting to prepare for 2026, and at the moment we have to understand which will be the next markets outside the Baltic states, and we have some ideas, and I think we will present them in the next webinars. And of course, invest in team development, and again, this is one of the important things we have to look on ourselves quite critically, and we have to develop our skills and develop our teams to get to our goals. Janis?
Yes, let's talk about the management guidance for 2025. So based on the assumption of stable economic conditions and the absence of significant geopolitical disruptions in the Baltic region and the key supplier market, we want to reiterate its financial guidance from November 2024, which we gave during the IPO process, that we want to achieve an EBITDA of 1.2 million in 2025. This is comparable to the 500,000 EBITDA before exceptionals we recorded in 2024.
So thank you for that. You will find presentation afterwards in our homepage and in a Nasdaq homepage as well. So let's get to the Q&As.
All right, thank you for the presentation. We have received plenty of questions before the call. We'll start with those, but participants, you are more than welcome to submit your questions through the Q&A box that you see below the presentation. How is the company managing costs and operational efficiency in light of current global coffee market conditions? And how do you plan to overcome price ups and stock problems for coffee beans in 2025?
Thank you. Really good question, and I think it's really relevant to this situation where we're living. If we take in consideration that green coffee, Arabica green coffee price in New York stock market was in last year increased by 90%. So it's quite a lot. So this is one of the answers why we working not with commercial coffee, which is not we are not buying coffee from the stock market or resellers, but we are working directly and with specialty coffee. And this is the good news for specialty coffee and direct trade principle because we already used to pay more for the coffee. So it means that this price increase for us, it's not so huge. Of course, it's a risk, but still in the end, of course, we have to take a look on our pricing policy and do some changes. But these changes are not so significant. It's around for the end user in around 10%. So and of course we have to adjust that.
Maybe also to add from the financial perspective, I think it's important to note that we fixed some prices back in November, which will last, which gives us basically the same price until the summer. And we are waiting for the new harvest report, the coffee harvest report in April, and we will see if there will be a market correction for the at the stock exchange, and what it will mean for like our procurement in H2. So there is no risk of these price fluctuations in like H1, and we will see then in H2 and the beginning of 2026 how the prices will be when we need to procure or set the new prices.
And I want to add that our business model philosophy is that our business actions and decisions should be made in interest in all stakeholders, not only shareholders. And actually, we are quite happy that farmers are able to earn more money because last few crops, especially in Brazil, was quite low, and these are the times when farmers can get a little bit more money, which compensates previous years' minuses. So and they can invest in the production. So it means that it benefits farmers as well. So for that we are happy. And what if we take a look on the stock market for green coffee? We see that today, if we compare like peak price, which was around 3 weeks ago, it's already decreased with around like 20%, and it means that the market is stabilizing. And you know the coffee market and stock market, it's always like about ups and downs, and it is how it is. And again, that's why we are really happy to work in direct trade. Of course, we are influenced by changes in the stock prices, but these changes we are not so influenced as companies who are working with commercial coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
One of the participants would like to learn more about the technologies used in your industry.
Okay, good question as well. Regarding technologies, we can divide that in two parts, in these like 3 scopes. One scope is what's happening in the producing countries. Then it's in production, and then in the coffee preparation. You know, I will start with coffee preparation. Usually, people are drinking more like in Latvia, 90% of drink coffees is espresso drinks, especially in coffee shops, and then are filter coffees. In this case, the technology haven't changed like for the more than 20-30 years, you know, and we don't see that it's gonna change. Then the second part is roasting. Again, there's like quite small changes can happen that, so we don't see that there will be any huge change, but the biggest change is happening in producing countries. And if you take a look on the global market and tendencies where the market is going, it's going with the bigger steps towards specialty coffee, and it means that people are looking for new experience, new tastes, etc. And the coffee farm is the place where they use technologies. For example, they use some technologies from wine industry, for example, anaerobic fermentation. So, and it influences coffee tastes, and this is the biggest part of technologies. And one more thing is that of course climate change is real. You know, we can see that last year crops in Brazil, for example, and Vietnam, and there's a lot of happening, especially in Brazil, with the biotechnologies that the farmers, together with the universities, are creating new varieties which are more resistant to climate changes and insects and etc. So this is the main part where technologies comes in.
Thank you. Let's now talk about supply chain management. With 76% of Kalve's beans sourced from Brazil's Sun Coffee Cooperative, how do you ensure supply chain resilience while maintaining the commitment to ethical and transparent sourcing?
Yes, from the without zoom in, this looks really high risk. I agree with that. Again, we are here to maintain long-term relationship with the farmers, and that actually helps us to reduce all kinds of risks. Regarding another cooperatives and companies and coffee producers, of course, we have to take a serious view on these risks, and therefore we have in mind different suppliers where we can buy the coffee. First situation like that we had in 2023 when we didn't get our coffee from Sun Coffee, but not because they couldn't deliver, but it was time when there was some kind of fighting in Red Sea, in Suez Canal, and that means that it's disrupt supply chain. And but thanks to my partner and CEO Raimond Selga and his connections, actually we get quite fast the coffee from different suppliers. So and we don't see specifically for us this as a risk.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. We have a follow-up question on this topic. What contingency plans are in place to mitigate potential supply chain disruptions, and are there any agreements with the identified alternative suppliers? So you partly covered this. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, there's we with the different suppliers we don't have any specific agreement, but of course we know the farmers, and we have been in contact with them in regarding the potential cooperation in all kind of situations. So from different regions. So yes, we don't have any specific agreements, but we took this risk seriously and etc. One thing is the risk regarding the production as well. For example, here we have as well, for example, if something happens here that we cannot roast the coffee, so we have plan B and plan C where to continue to roast the coffee. So.
From partners to employees, what is Kalve doing to ensure it attracts and retains the best customer-facing employees?
It's a really good question, and I think people, not only in company but around the company, customers, etc., are the main driving force forward. So we have to build the culture in the company, and we have to not only to pay fair wages and fair and give all kind of extras, but we have to add some meaning and added value to all the positions we have in the company. So, and I think this is process. It's not like game where we have to come and now we can relax, but it's a process that we have to build and make stronger this our culture. And I think this is I hope this is the answer to your question.
I think it's also very important to keep our staff in the long term, because when we talk about quality, which is the main feature of Kalve Coffee, we need those people in the long term working for us so that we can still maintain and offer the best coffee.
Has Valdemar Street Kalve already outranked Stab Street by turnover?
We opened Valdemar Street in the middle of December. So let's not look on December, but January, the revenue is pretty similar, and February as well. But of course, we are expecting from Valdemar Street bigger revenues, and we are looking into it, and I'm sure that it will follow. Living room is not open fully yet because we are expecting to open the kitchen there as well. So of course, the revenues in future there will be higher than Stabo Street or all the espresso room concepts.
And I think it's also great to mention that while in the first days we noticed that that the opening of the coffee shop impacted a little bit, maybe the other coffee shops, like everyone wanted to see the new coffee place. We were able to see that in January, the opening of the living room did not impact all the other coffee shops. So we are still having very good numbers in those coffee shops.
All right, let's talk about future now. Is it planned to acquire shares in other coffee companies?
At the moment, no. But again, we are quite small company at the moment. So, and we have built really good foundations of different businesses. One is coffee shop, then is B2B, private label, e-commerce. So at the moment, we don't see the logical need to do that. So we believe that we can grow our business in all these segments without any buying different companies.
Thank you. What about franchise? Are there any discussions on that? And if no, then why?
We had some emails regarding the willing to work in franchise model. At the moment, we are not ready to do that because as Jans mentioned before, we have to deliver the perfect coffee cup. And in franchise, there are some risks. Of course, there are opportunities, but there are risks how to maintain the quality in this kind of concept. And we don't say yes or no. We are not there yet. And as a management, we have to keep mindset where we have to see opportunities in the right time and we have to use it. So yes, we see that franchise could be in the future the model of working, but we have to do our homework.
How stable and foreseeable is the coffee production business in the next 5 to 10 years? What are the industry specifics and trends that could potentially impact your company's future?
That's again for you.
Yeah, it's a good question. And, again, there are coffee market is divided in two parts, which is commodity coffee and there's specialty coffee. And if we take a look on the numbers, then the CAGR on specialty coffee till 2030 is around 15%, and commodity or commercial coffee is around 2 to 3%. And I think these numbers indicate that we are working in the right direction. That new customers and future customers and these days customers, they are looking for good taste in the cup, and they looking for a transparent product with the ethical sourcing and all these added values. So I think the next 5-10 years will be especially good for the specialty coffee players who will be able to scale the business and deliver the constant high quality and yeah, I think the future looks quite bright from our perspective. So we are looking forward.
It's been 3 months since your IPO. Would you consider organizing a secondary public offering that would allow investors, that would give investors another chance to invest?
Yeah, we are a public company, and already you can you can become the shareholder without secondary listings. So at the moment, we are not planning to do that in the nearest future because we believe that next year's growth could be made from our own cash flow and maybe a little bit of loan. So we are quite dedicated to do it with our own money. So in the next years, we don't see that the need to do that. But still, yeah, you can. We are a public company, and you can buy our shares in Nasdaq.
Mm-hmm. Investors are asking about your dividend plans in future.
Yes, it's a good question, and as we mentioned before IPO, that our plan is to grow the business in next few years, and we are not planning to pay dividends for at least 2 to 3 years. Of course, if there will be options, we'll do that, but we want to maintain our focus in next 3 years on the growth. Regarding dividends, you can find the dividend policy in our homepage, and there's everything is written.
Would you consider a smaller margin for shareholder program?
No, not at the moment. We believe that our shareholder program is honest for all parts, and we are planning to stick to that.
What would you tell investors who did not participate in the IPO but are considering investing in Kalve in the future?
It's a good question. You have to just look on our company, and you have make choice by yourself. Our part is we want to be as transparent as we can. We want to maintain good governance. We want to make all the decisions which are based in all stakeholders. So, I'm not here to recommend invest or not invest. You have to take a look on all the numbers and our reports and the plans and make decision by yourself. So this is on you.
Mm-hmm. Let's now turn to online questions received during the session. How is the revenue per coffee shop developing?
Do you want me to take this?
Yes,
Final
yes,
one?
please.
Yes, finally a question for me maybe. So basically we have our coffee shops, the ones which like already exist so a bit longer, and the new ones which opened in the last 1 or 2 years. And here we see very, very good growth figures, and they are catching up with the older ones. But I'm very happy to see as well that our 2 oldest coffee shops are also they have increased by 15 to 20% in the 24 compared to 23. So here we can see that all coffee shops contribute to the growth story.
Yeah, and I want to mention that our coffee shop, it's not typical coffee shop because we are producing our main product, which is coffee, and our coffee shop revenue is divided in mainly in 3 parts, where like around 40% are the coffee drinks, 30% is pastry, and 30% of coffee beans sold. So we are getting more efficient, and because of these 3 parts, we can actually do it more efficiency as well, more efficient in the future.
Mm-hmm. Talking about your product offering, are there any plans to expand the consumer product offering, like adding to the 4 core espresso blends?
It's a good idea. Of course, we are looking not to stay where we are, but we want to develop the product as well and the offer of that. So it's nice to hear the feedback. And one more thing, we want to develop more feedback culture in our company, and this could help actually us to make more like different products and do it more proactively. So yes, we are planning different products in the future. So follow us, and you will see it.
What are the main plans in team development? What expectations and activities does it include?
In team development, we believe that we have to give chance for each individual to growth inside the company, and we believe this is the best way to grow the company through individuals. And there are a few things we are doing. For example, if there's always open some new job, or so we have to offer it for like existing person. For example, our head roaster Alina, who came here, she came here from Ukraine. She started as barista, and at the moment she's main like head of roaster. And there's like few positions like that. So we always looking for all the employees, if there are a chance to give this opportunity to do something different and to grow in competence.
Can you elaborate on some of the key e-commerce improvements in the pipeline? What's coming this year?
First of all, we have to make like minimum hygiene of our e-commerce platforms, and of course we are looking in all directions, how to improve user experience in e-commerce, and how to develop that. So I cannot give you something specific projects, but these are directions we are looking for.
What were your biggest clients in B2B sector in 2024?
I will not give the names, but the idea is to make this B2B client portfolio quite diverse, to reduce the risks. And if we take a look on our top 20 B2B clients, they give something around like 30% of revenue. So this is the principle we will maintain, and of course we are looking on all kind of key account clients in the future, but nothing specific I can tell you at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Do you plan to expand product selection besides coffee to split revenue stream?
Of course, we are looking on different products as well, but our main focus is coffee, and we want to make focus on specifically on the coffee, and we want to be the best in what we are doing. And of course, if we want to develop different products which are not related to coffee, so it means that we don't have the focus on our main product. Still, of course, as I mentioned before, for us as a management team, we have to see opportunities in this direction as well. And if we see the potential there, and probably we can do that. But our main goal is to make coffee products and products which are related with the coffee.
Mm-hmm. Any plans for coffee events? Maybe educating customers about the specialty coffee and similar.
Yes, we have all kind of events in mind, and we want to develop the specialty coffee community as a whole through all kind of events, and we have plans on that as well. But again, nothing specific I can tell at the moment. We will continue to make public cuppings, and it's the cupping which we love. It's called People's Choice. Then we have different coffees from different regions, and we give the chance to the people to choose which coffee we have to add to our portfolio. So this will follow up in the spring.
Mm-hmm. We already talked about the geographical expansion outside Latvia, but are there any plans to expand to other cities within Latvia, like Liepāja or Cēsis?
I'll be honest, not in the nearest future. And the argument is that we want to maintain growth, and we are looking on bigger cities outside, actually on the big cities outside of the Baltic states, because in way of capex, to how much money we have to invest in one coffee shop, its amount is the same. Is it Cēsis or Liepāja or I don't know, Barcelona, but the potential of revenue and business is totally different. And we will, of course, one of our main values is accessibility, and we have thinking about Cēsis and Liepāja as well, and we can do that in long term, but without any specific date and time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. We have 2 more questions to go. How much of your revenue growth comes from price increases versus actual volume growth? Are consumers resisting higher prices?
Revenue growth. I think so it's definitely the biggest factor is still the growth of the quantity we sell. There was a small price increase. So last year we did in the coffee shops. But I think it's great to see, like when we look at the gross profit, how it changed from 23 to 24. There is about half of the growth in gross profit comes from sheer revenue, so volume and price increase, and the other half comes from real improvements in the profitability, where we increased our production, so efficiency, the selling efficiency in the coffee shops. So I think this is a really good performance we did in 2024.
Thank you. The last question that we have received by now, can you point to a single financial metric that you think the company is most vulnerable on?
I guess that's again for me. I think in the past it was definitely the leverage so ratios that we had, or it wasn't bad, but the company was focused on growing by its own so capital and using loans. Now this has been solved with the proceeds from the IPO. What I'm looking at like very closely is the CapEx. We want to grow, we need to grow, but we also need to make sure that we grow the right way. So keeping CapEx in line, that will be the major challenge. And then of course working on capital, making sure that inventory doesn't skyrocket, and we have the right inventory.
Thank you. All questions have been answered. Before we're closing the call, Gati, would you like to give some final remarks?
Thank you for your time and interest. I really appreciate that, and stay tuned. And maybe some of you have higher expectations how we will communicate, how often, and what kind of events. And in this point as well, we want to talk about fundamental things and communicate that honestly. And so we will not be the company who will communicate with some things which are not have to communicate, but we will do it maybe not so often, but we will do it in a high quality. This is our commitment. So thank you, everybody. And
yeah, and I also want to stress, so to note that I know that we have a lot of shareholders which are not coming from the finance world, so maybe a lot of finance terms are new to you. Please feel free to write us like your questions. What is EBIT? What is EBITDA? I'm very happy to answer and also help you to understand what we are telling now and what we will tell you in the future.
Yes, right, and we have all the contacts in our homepage. So yeah, feel free to call or write us in email. So we will happy to help you.
Thank you. Goodbye.